I want to stop here for just a second as we are wrapping up on the economy. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled on what is happening with our gas prices. I know the White House says this come down 40%. They're selling our strategic oil reserve to China. That alone, I think, is treasonous, seeing that it was funneled through Hunter Biden's company in China. It's crazy, crazy. But right now, Joe Biden is in Israel. Why? Why is he in Israel? Because he's going to Saudi Arabia. And that's, don't be distracted by his trip to Israel. He doesn't give a flying crap about Israel, nor does anyone in the Democratic Party, or the majority of them. Okay? We have no strength in the Middle East right now. None. We abandoned all of our allies in Afghanistan. The way we pulled out, it makes us just look like absolute fools and boobs. Who wants to be on our side? We left the refugees that we got out of Afghanistan. We left them in the Gulf states, trapped, because our State Department won't let them move anywhere. We're negotiating with the Middle East's biggest threat, and that is Iran. Saudi Arabia does not like Iran. Saudi Arabia wants to defeat Iran. Israel wants to defeat Iran. Jordan, the UAE, they do not look at Iran as anything other than a grave threat. And whose side are we on right now? Feels like we're on Iran's side. So we're negotiating with them. And then we're not only putting our oil and gas business out of business, but we're doing it to the Gulf states as well. So now the president went to Israel yesterday, and he was talking tough on Iran. We're going to make sure that we have tough sanctions on Iran, and they're going to have to come through us. Who believes that in the first place? Second of all, he's not saying it to Israel. He's saying it because he's going to Saudi Arabia. So he's talking tough on Iran because Saudi Arabia, they view their biggest enemy, if it's not us, it would be Iran. And our president is about to almost literally go and kneel to beg for them to open up the oil and sell us some oil, please. Open it up. Now, can I just ask you to think, not as a Saudi Arabian, not as a political person, just as a business person, okay? What used to be your friend has betrayed you. They are working with somebody who you feel is your biggest enemy. And they're enabling them to gain power. Then they're also doing everything in their power. In fact, they're leading the march to put you out of business. And it's the only business you really have in your country. Okay? It's made you rich, but you didn't save it. I mean, you got gold Ferraris. So you're going to put us out of business on oil? Now that customer comes to you, somebody you used to think is a friend, you now know is not a friend, and they say, hey, can you sell us some of your product? Because we really, really need it, and the world really, really needs it. Well, wait a minute. Are you still going to try to continue to put me out of business globally? Well, yeah, we have to because of global warming, and ESG is the wave of the future. Do you give that person what they need to weather the storm as they're trying to put you out of business? Or do you say, no, I think I'm going to let your people feel the full ramification of this because it's probably the only hope that they'll kick you out of office and stop this insanity. And I don't care about your country, but I care about mine and our business and what feeds our people. No, I'm going to let you feel the full ramifications because I've already got another customer, China. What does our president have to promise Saudi Arabia to get them to lower the price of oil and to pump more? What could that possibly be? Because I know it's not because we're friends. I mean, we lead the world on Build Back Better. Our corporations, our banks, our government. You know, we sent $60 billion to fund this war in Ukraine against Russia. But what's amazing is while this country is at war, their citizens are out of their house. They fled to other countries. The refugees, missiles are coming down into their neighborhoods. What is the Ukrainian parliament working on? A bill to allow gay marriage to happen. Now, wait a minute. Ukraine is not a place that traditionally is for gay marriage. And they're in the middle of a war. That's your priority? I mean, that sounds purely American. It sounds so ridiculous. Well, it is American. I can guarantee you. Our money came with strings, and it was all about ESG. We've got to wake up. People who think that gas prices are going to come down. Let me just give you this story from the World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum released a position paper on Monday that links two claimed global crises as one: climate change and the decline of democracy. It says fighting the former will save the latter as long as consumers stop burning coal, oil, and gas in exchange for green renewables. The World Economic Forum paper argues for the past 15 years, democracy has been in decline worldwide. To protect and promote freedom, leading democracies must strengthen their economies and safeguard liberty. Now, why is this? If you sign up for my newsletter, and it's free, by the way, go to glennbeck.com and sign up for it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There was a story that came out in 2003. In fact, do we have this audio? This is me in 2003 talking about civil war. Listen to this.
You know, is there a bigger example of democracy and the health of capitalism than the United States of America? I mean, that's it. This is the pinnacle of this form of government. And we were about 80 years into it, and we had a civil war. 80 years later, we were still to the point where we could have a civil war. Can you even imagine having a civil war now? What would it take to have a civil war? I mean, look what happened to us in the 90s. We did impeach a president, almost removed him from office, and nobody was talking about get into the street with guns. Florida election, that thing was hotly contested. Back and forth. People were passionate about their views, and nobody was saying it's a civil war. Nobody. You know what it takes to have a civil war? It's incredible. It takes instability. It takes poverty. It takes gang rule.
That was 2003. And I was warning, we're nowhere close to a civil war, but if these trends continue, we will get there. All you have to do is impoverish the people. What's happening to you right now? Are you getting into a better situation or a worse situation? I know people who have millions of dollars. In my job, I am fortunate to meet with regular people and prime ministers and senators and business icons. So I get the full scope of things. I know people who have millions of dollars who are freaked out of their mind right now, who are saying, I don't know what to do with the money. I just don't want to lose all of my money. Now, them losing all of their money would probably put them in the situation, maybe the best situation of your life. But still, they're having the same feeling that you're having. Everyone knows, top to bottom, impoverishment is coming. Did you see what Spain just did? The Prime Minister of Spain, just out of the blue, levied a new tax on the banks and financial institutions and energy. There's a new windfall tax. Well, this has put the stock market over in Spain, just upended it. Because now, wait a minute, nobody likes higher interest rates, but higher interest rates do play a role in business. If I can't give people a different interest rate based on their situation, well, then I don't have any risk. I mean, it's all risk because I can't balance it out. So they're just screwing up the free market there. And they're going to use that money because the Prime Minister says people can't afford their lifestyle anymore, so the government has to provide more. So they're now going after anyone who has any money. And that's coming. That's coming. Eventually, as Winston Churchill says, was it Winston Churchill or Margaret Thatcher? At some point with socialism, you run out of other people's money. But the World Economic Forum has now said global warming and the saving of global freedom is all about getting off of oil and coal, gas, all of it. I will tell you it is the exact opposite. This is what the hierarchy, the elites are walking in lockstep because they know if they don't change things, they're going to lose their positions, they're going to lose their wealth. So all of the elites have agreed, let's go with this great and we'll all work together. The media, everybody, all the big, huge power players are playing that way. As George Soros told one of my guys 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you tell your boss the ship has sailed and you're either on it or you are not. Well, I would rather stand with you than be on a ship of fools that is destined for ports of call that I never want to see. The World Economic Forum says, now, if you listen to Mr. Build Back Better, Joe Biden, he will tell you that it's the greedy oil companies. No, it is not. Mr. Build Back Better should understand that the World Economic Forum says that we need a clean energy transition, and these countries like ours are selling gasoline at too cheap a price even today, and we need to stop the cheap energy. It's not stopping. It's not stopping. We have got to be informed.